Okay, so good morning, everyone. Today we are going to look at Microsoft Access. Microsoft Access is an example of a database program. So today we are going to learn how to build different database objects. For example, we are going to learn how to do a table. We will learn how to do a query, how to do a form, and how to do a report, right? So we are going to look at different database objects, right? And as we go along, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, okay? Now, you all know that we would have used the term database before. And what I said about a database is that it could be manual or it could be computerized. Remember that, guys? Yeah?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So a database could either be something that is manual or something that is computerized, right? So that's the first thing. Let me just see if I could oh God. Stop it. So let me just share something with you so that you all can probably write a little something. So you all should be seeing a blank screen there. You all seen that blank screen? All right, guys. So I want you all to take this down for me firstly, right? Take your book and head up for me, database, head up, Microsoft Access. And I want you all to take down some of these notes that we are doing now. Are you all seeing my screen still, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Hi, how are you?
good.
Good. Now, a manual database, right? A manual database more than likely would be it would be something that is paper-based, right? Your manual database is something that would be paper-based. Now, long ago, before computers became so common, long ago, people would actually have a database and they will have paper and folders and filing cabinets in order to store documents, right? So for example, and probably it still happens. For example, sometimes you go to your doctor's office and your doctor would have your information on an index card, or he might have your patient file in a folder. that means that your doctor is still using a paper-based method, right? Because they are still updating and they're still writing everything on your paper. However, they would have a filing system, probably based on your last name. They would have a filing system. So that makes it a little bit easy to use the paper-based database, right? But what happens if they file something in the wrong place? It will take a very long time to go through however many cabinets to find that one file. Not so, guys? Or if your doctor needs a specific piece of information, like let's say he wants to see all his patients who probably taken a certain drug, it would be difficult for your doctor to go through all these different paper-based files in order to determine those things, right? So with the introduction of a computerized database, now it is so easy to just pull up someone's name and get all of their information. Agreed? Yeah? So what are some examples of a paper-based database? An example of a paper-based database, one is a dictionary. Think about it, right? A dictionary is an example of a paper-based database. Do you all agree? Yeah? Another example of a paper-based database would be the manual telephone directory, where it has a physical book and people actually have to go through it to find names and numbers, right? A physical TV guide is an example of a manual database as well. Right? A recipe book or recipe cards are example of a paper-based database. A diary, a physical diary, which you use to keep appointments, that can also be an example of a paper-based example. So these are all examples of manual databases, right? Everyday things. These are examples of manual databases. So please take that down for me. All right, let me know when you all are done. You can just raise your hand on the icon there. You can just let me know if you all are done. All right, guys, so please go ahead and take this down for me. For those of you who are now coming in, we are doing database today. We are using Microsoft Access to build our database. take your book and please take down what we are doing. All right, guys, when you're finished taking this down, please let me know. Large computerized databases is used for these things here. For example, doing a holiday booking online, booking airline tickets, using a directory to find millions of customers for a telephone number in seconds, using a police computer database to find information about stolen cars or criminal suspects. Right, so with the introduction of computerized databases, everything was a lot faster and a lot easier. I know you guys can't see. Just give me a minute. Let me just fix this for you. Are you all finished here with this side? Are you all finished with these notes here on this side, everybody?
No.
No? Okay, go ahead. When you're finished with that, I want to give you some advantages and disadvantages of a database. So as soon as you guys are done, please raise your hand so that I will know you all are finished, right? Are we done, everybody?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Ma'am.
Yeah.
okay, good. All right, so I'm gonna go down on my screen. And let's take some advantages and disadvantages of databases. So let's take this down. Right, when you guys are finished, you all will let me know, right? So you just raise your hand so that I will know that you're done. For those of you who are now joining us, we are taking this note, advantages and disadvantages of databases. Are you guys okay, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys, so 15 minutes, so we will come back at 10:15. All right. All right, guys, so welcome back from your break time. I want you all to take a definition for me. What is a database system? So a database system, it is a term for programs that handle the storage, modification, and retrieval of data, as well as controls who has access to the information. And an example of the application is what we would be using today. So Microsoft Access is an example of a database management system. I need you all to take down these terms that deals with database management systems as well. 2 minutes. Go ahead and take this down for me. Can you all see my screen still? Yes?
Yeah.
Good. Go ahead and take down this to me. Right? 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Miss, he said he gonna unlog you now.
Oh, thank you. Are you guys finished here? Show of hands, or you could unmute your mic. Are you guys finished with us here? With the exception of who just joined us. Everybody else finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, good morning, Shaquille. We're just taking this note here, right?
Okay, miss.
All right, so go ahead and get started. I know you now came out of a session there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Go ahead and take down this note here on the screen.
Just write it down.
Yes, please.
What did I miss?
You'll have to catch up. Don't have to worry. Right, I'll do a brief recap just now with you, with something everybody who's joining in late.
Miss, I have a question.
Just now, hold on. Hold on.
Is it okay I could draw the chart, the database, the table to record the
Yeah.
field?
Okay, guys, so I'm going to do a brief recap for those of us who are now joining us. I'm going to do a brief recap of what we covered this morning, right? So we are looking at database today. The application that we are looking at is called Microsoft Access. And I started off the class earlier talking about our different types of databases that we have. And it's one, manual or paper-based, or two, on the computer system, right? And examples of your manual database would be things like a dictionary, telephone directory, a physical TV guide, a recipe book, recipe cards, or even a physical diary, right? Then we had some examples of a computerized database, such as booking holidays, airline tickets, finding telephone numbers in just a few seconds, and also the police using a database to find out information about stolen cars or criminal suspects, right? So your database is broken up into two types, manual and computerized. And then I went on to give the class some advantages and disadvantages of using a database, especially where the computerized database is concerned. These would be the advantages and the disadvantages of your computerized database. So your first advantage is that it saves enormous amounts of paper as well as filing space, right? Because it's on the computer, it can be stored on a hard drive, an external hard drive, however you all choose to save your database, right? Data is easily entered by using keyboards, and we could also scan documents and upload on a computerized database. Speed, it is definitely quicker than going through a manual database. Information can be easily changed and updated. Data needs to be entered only once, but yet we could present it in so many ways. For example, we have different styles of reports and forms and so on, right? When you enter data, it can be checked on entry. We have security such as passwords, right? It is easy for us to add fields, edit fields, delete fields, and so on, right? When compared to a paper-based system. Data can be imported and exported from other application programs. Your database can be automatically linked to other databases as well, and it can be shared with other users who are a part of a network, and that also includes the internet. Disadvantages of the computerized database. The initial startup cost will be expensive because you have to buy a computer and you have to buy hardware devices. You might even have to invest in software as well. So the initial startup cost is going to be expensive if you have a computerized database, right? If the computer or the network is not working, then if you are sharing your database, the database may not be able to be used because we wouldn't have anywhere to share it. Security can also be an issue. Although it's an advantage, it could also be a disadvantage, because remember that there are hackers every day who is trying to get access into people's computer systems. So you have to take more security measures, right? A database file can become corrupted. It can even be infected by a computer virus. So if you don't have your database backed up anywhere and something happens to your original file, then you are going to be in a lot of problems, right? So you need to make sure that you back up your information. Sometimes there can be a size limit to your database file, because remember, your storage device would be of a certain capacity. So once it reaches maximum size, we will have to invest in a storage device that has more space. Sometimes a database can be complicated to use, especially if the user doesn't know how to use a database perfectly. They are going to have issues in understanding the database. Some databases requires much time to be spent on staff training, which can be costly to the company. Because people are entering data, your data can be stored incorrectly. So these are just some advantages and disadvantages to go with your computerized database. You know what's another disadvantage? Because it's computerized, it would need a constant supply of power. So if something happens to your power supply, and we don't have any backup power, then you cannot use the database either. So having a computerized database, you have to have a backup power supply. Okay. And then we went into a definition as to what is a database system. And a database management system, it's a term for a program that stores, modifies, means to change, retrieve, means to get data, as well as controlling who has access to it. And the program that we are using today is Microsoft Access. And these are the different objects we are going to learn about today, right? These are the different objects that we are going to learn about today. And these terms are important for you to know. You need to know what is a database. A database consists of a number of related files. A table consists of records. Records consist of fields, and a field is the smallest piece of data that can be stored. All right, keep in mind that your record is also called a row and your field is also called a column, right? So these are all terms that we are going to be using when we get into Microsoft Access, right? So I want to show you guys how Microsoft Access works, right? And we are going to also discuss something called data types when we get into Microsoft Access. We'll come back to that then. What I'm going to use this as my example, right? I'm going to use this as my example for now. This is what we are going to work on. So I'm just going to use a small example for us to work on for now. Those of you who have your computers, you can power it up at this point, right? So let me just explain to you what is happening here. Firstly, this database object that we are looking at is called a table. How do I know it's a table? Because if you look here, it says name of table. So this is a table. The name of our table is called inventory. Does everybody understand this line? This is a table. The name of this table is called inventory, right? What is a table? A table consists of a collection of records. A table consists of a collection of records. So this here is a table. So this is a collection of records. Right? Let me get this. Right, so this is better. So this entire area up here is called your table, and a table is a collection of records. Okay, so this is called your table, and your table is a collection of records. And the name of your table here, right? And so the table name here is called inventory. Is everybody okay so far? Yes? Now my question is, so it's a collection of records. So now my question is, what is a record? A record consists of a number of fields. A record consists of a number of fields. A record is a number of fields. And what is a field? A field is the smallest piece of data that can be stored. Okay, so what are your fields? Let's just come back to the question. Your fields are referred to simply remember this, your fields are referred to as your columns and your records are referred to as your rows. So what are your fields? Your fields, for example, would be things like these words on the top here that identifies the table. So your fields are item number, description, cost, number in stock, storage room, and supplier. All of your columns are called fields, right? Your columns are called fields. And your records are your rows. So when you type this first piece of information here, and you type from 5 to 300, and you go across to the word caves, and you type this entire piece of information there, you have just entered your first record. So one row of information is called a record. One row of information is called a record. Got it? All of this information, all your fields and all your records put together is called a database, right? So your database is equivalent to a file, right? Your database is equivalent to a file. So this entire thing makes up a file, and the name of this file would be inventory. Are you all with me so far? We need to understand these basics first. Is everybody understanding what I am saying here?
Yes, miss.
Yes. How about the rest of you? Everybody okay? You can even raise your hand if you can't unmute your mics. You could just raise your hand so that I will know that everybody is following me. Does everybody understand? Right? Alicia is telling me yes. Shavin telling me yes. Tariq, you're good. Jadon, very good. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
So let me ask
Maybe.
you. Very good. Thank you, guys. Let me ask you some questions now. So based on what I just said here, right? Based on what I just said, right? We just said, let me just bring this up. Okay. So based on what I said, I want to ask you some other questions now based on what I said here. I'm telling you that your fields are your columns, your records are your rows, and the term database means everything, means your columns and your rows put together, or your fields and your records put together makes up a file. And that file is referred to a database. Right, I'm just going back to your notes, right? A database consists of a number of related files, right? More commonly, these files are called tables. Okay, so let me ask you some questions now based on what we are looking at here. How many fields are there in this example? How many fields are there in this example? Anybody? How many fields are there in this example? Tell me.
6.
Very good. The answer is 6. How did he get 6? We have to check our number of columns. 1 for item name, 2 description, 3 cost, 4 number in stock, 5 storeroom, 6 supplier. So in this example, there is a total of 6 fields. Does everybody understand that before we move forward? Show of hands if you can't unmute. Right,
Yes.
I know, yeah, I know you're okay. The rest of us, are we okay? Do we understand what is a field? Do we know if we if we get a question and we have to determine the amount of fields, would we be able to answer it? So we need to understand what is a field, right? And the easiest way to remember what is a field is to remember that a field is a column. And remember that columns run down, right? Columns run down and rows run across. Now my question to you, somebody other than Shaquille is going to answer this one now. How many records do I have in this database? How many records do I have in this database? How many? Go ahead. Who's going to answer it then? Okay, so let's see if he's correct. How many rows of information do I have? So this is my first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very good. So this example, right? In this example, we have exactly 7 records, right? So we have 7 records in this example. And we said here we had 6. We have 6 fields in our example, right? So 6 fields and 7 records. Very good. Do we understand that, everybody? Yeah? What is the name of my database? What is the name of my database? Looking at the information here, what is the name of my database? Anybody? Anybody? Nobody knows? The name of the database, look, it's up here. What is the name of it? The name of it is inventory. Does everybody see that now? Yes? So the name of our database is inventory. Are we okay so far? Remember, when you if you will get anything like this in your paper 1, these are possible questions that you will be asked. So we need to understand the theory of a database in order to understand and answer paper 1 questions. So that's what I'm making sure you'll understand these simple terms before we move forward. Everybody understands that, right? Yeah. So now I am going to move on. So now that we know some of these terminologies, right? Now that we know some of these terms, I want to move forward, right? So I'm going to move forward now. And moving forward, I am going to take you into the actual application now to see how we actually enter and do this information in our database. Got it, guys? Okay, so for those of you with your laptops,
Yeah.
yeah, I need you all to find the application that we are looking at, and it's called Access. How do we find Access? Click on your Start button, press the A on the keyboard, and you should see Access coming up to the top. Go and see Access application. You all there, everybody who's working with me? Now, in Microsoft Access, more than likely, if you have to design a database, you would actually design a database from scratch, right? So I'm going to take you step by step how to design your own database. Feel free to take little notes as we go along, because Access is something that it's a bit different from the other applications we have worked in. It's actually a lot of steps to remember. So for those of us who who are taking notes, feel free to jot down your points, right? So we are going to create a database. So that's our first thing that we are going to do. What is your first thing? Creating a database. Step one, right? We are creating a database. Step one, click on blank database. Click on blank database, not double clicker, just click on blank database. When you click once, a box is going to come up, right? Do not double click, because if you double click, it eliminates this screen. So we are creating a database, and step one is to click on blank database.
Do we do this right now? What are
Yes.
you doing?
Do you have your computer up? Yes, do it. Go ahead and do it with me. So click on blank database to me once, and this screen comes up. Tell me if you are seeing this. For those of us who are using your laptops, let me know. Is everybody there?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. We are going to give our database a name, right? We are going to give our database a name. Now, your database, the database example that we are using is the one that I showed you earlier, right? The one that we just used as the example. And that database is based on things like item number, description, cost of items, number of things in stock, and the storeroom in which it's being stored, and the suppliers that we are getting these things from, right? So one of the most fitting names for our database here, I am going to give it the name inventory. At this point, automatically, if you look at my screen, automatically my database location is in documents. You can change it by clicking on this folder icon here that allows you to browse. You can browse and change the location. For example, if you're doing it on your flash drive, or you want to save it on your desktop, you can come here and browse, and you can change your location. If not, automatically the file goes directly into your documents folder. So I am leaving mine in my documents folder because that's my location, right? Documents.
What was it, step 2 again?
We type the name and we choose the location.
Got it.
Good. And the last step, we are going to click on create. Last step, click create. Right, I will also do a note that I would send for you guys after class, right? I'll do a note and I'll send it for you guys after class with all these various steps, right? But please, those of you who are writing, continue to write, because I think that writing is a very good technique in remembering. So we click on create. When we click on create, I come up to something here, and this something that comes up on my screen is called table 1. I'm seeing it here, and I'm seeing it here. Are you guys seeing it?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Good. I don't need this as yet. So I'm going to close, look here, with my small x, I'm going to close it off. Not my top x, because that's going to exit the entire application. So I'm just going to close with a small x, so that is going to close off my table, only my table. Now, I want you to notice that, look up here on my screen, I am seeing that the name of this database is inventory, and if you look at all of this information up here, it's giving me the file path where I have this particular file saved. So it's telling me on C colon means your hard drive. So on my hard drive, I have a folder that's called documents, and in documents, I have this file created, which is called inventory, right? So the name of my file is inventory. Remember, this bar to the top here is called your title bar, right? This bar to the top there is called your title bar. It tells us the name of our file. It gives us the file path where our file is located, and it tells me the name of the program that I am using to create this file. The name of it is Access. My buttons on the right-hand side remains the same: minimize, maximize, or restore, and this X, which would allow me to exit or close the application. This area here on the right-hand side is called our quick access toolbar. I could add or remove icons on the quick access toolbar by clicking on the drop-down arrow. I could add or remove icons. The ones where you see the correction signs, those correction signs indicate that those icons are already on the quick access toolbar. The ones without the correction sign indicates that those icons are not there. So if you want to put in any of those icons, you click on a command name, and the icon appears on the quick access toolbar. The quick access toolbar is used to add icons, relatively commonly used icons. You will add that to your quick access toolbar, so it's easy for you to find, right? If you have to. File, home, create, and so on, all the way down to help. Each one of these words here is called a tab, right? Each one of these words is called a tab. Your program opens up on your home tab because your home tab usually contains the most commonly used icons. What are icons? Icons are these little pictures that we see coming up on our screen. So view, cut, copy, paste, filter, and so on. These are all examples of icons. Your icons are broken up into something called groups. So this group is called view, this group is called clipboard, this group is called sort and filter, and so on. So all your icons are broken up into groups, right? All icons are broken up into groups. This is our database window. This entire area here is called your database window. So with all of that being said, now we can get down into actually creating a database. Is everybody with me still, or is everybody okay? Yeah, you can just raise your hand. Yeah, if you all are okay, just raise your hand. Let me know you all are okay before we move forward. Good. Very good. Thank you, guys. Okay, now access is something I want you all to pay really close attention to because it's multiple steps. Today's our last class for this, so I need everybody to pay attention to what is happening. Okay, so we just created a database, right? That's the first thing we did. We just created a database. In order to come up to here, we created a database. The next thing we are going to do now is to create a database object. So the first database object that I am going to create is called a table, right? The first database object that you are going to create is called a table. So I'm just coming back here. Right, your first database object that I'm going to create is called a table. What is the table? A table consists of a collection of records. So I'm going to use my table to create records. I'm going to use my table to create records. A table is a collection of records about a specific topic. Our specific topic would be inventory. So our collection of records is going to be based on inventory. So my next heading. So you're going to skip a line and you're going to head up tables. Right? That's our next heading for those of us who are writing those points. Tables. Step 1. Click on create. And step 2, click on table design. So we click on create and we click on table design. Those of you with your laptops, make sure you all are there. Table design is used to set the specification for our table. Table design is used to set the specification for your table or the specification for your database. I am going to type in my first field name, and I'm using the example from before. So our first field name there was item number, and I'm typing it exactly how it's in the example. So there are no spaces. So I'm typing it exactly as is. So my first field name is item name. So you enter your first field name there. Our first field name is item number.
Wait, should we type item number?
Yes. When you are finished with your field name, I don't want you to click anything yet. When you're finished with your field name, we are going to look at something called data type, right? And I'm going back to something to share with you. Right, I have something for you here called data types. What is a data type? A definition for your data type, it's a particular kind of data item that is defined by values it can take. It's a particular kind of data item as defined by values which it can take. And these are all examples of data types that you will see on Microsoft Access, right? These are all examples of data types, and this is the purpose of using these particular data types. What is text? So we have text as our first data type. What is text? It's a combination of letters, numbers, and special characters. This is a very popular data type, text. Memo is used for lengthy text entries. This is not very commonly used, right? Number is commonly used because number is a numeric field. Text is also referred to as an alphanumeric field, right? Number stores numbers. Date will store information using dates with month, day, and year information. Currency is used to store dollars and cents amounts. Auto number is used to keep an automatic tally of how much records you are entering. So if you enter 6, it will number it 1 to 6. If you enter 10, it will number it 1 to 10. So auto number keeps an automatic tally. OLE object allows you to add pictures and videos and whatnot. Again, this we are not using at this stage. Yes or no data types is also called a Boolean. It's also called a logical field. Logical meaning yes or no, true or false, on or off. So if it's not one, it will be the other. Lookup wizard is used to show multiple data from to choose different data items. And a hyperlink, you all know what is a hyperlink, right? A hyperlink is used to link something to a web page, right? The most commonly used for beginners, the most commonly used data type for beginners is text, number, date, currency, auto number, and yes, no, logical field. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the commonly used data types for beginners who are now starting Microsoft Access. So I'm going to go back to my question. In fact, before I go back to my question, I should ask you a question. Look at these information that is stored here. Notice the question does not tell you what sort of information to use, right? The question did not tell you what sort of data types to use. Our data types are here, but we only see in data here. We are not seeing any data types. Do you all see that? So what data types are we to use? Right, so let's do that. So I'm taking this down again for us to determine by looking at our data. Okay, I'll use it up here so I don't have to keep scrolling, and then I'll move it for you guys. So every field name have to have a data type. Every field name has to have a data type. So our first these, ignore the red wavy lines, right? These are our field names. These are our field names that I got from on the top here, right? So this up here represents my field. These are my field names. And we are going to determine our data type. Okay, so let's look at our first field name. My first field name is item number. Item number stores what? What are you guys seeing here? A set of what? Tell me.
Numbers.
Numbers. So let me go back to my definition. So we have a data type here that is called number. Number is also called a numeric field. It stores numbers. So very good for the person who said number. Our first data type that we are going to use is called number. I'm going to look at description. Description is made up of a set of words. Words is called what? I'm going back up to my data type. Remember, that's made up of a set of words. Which one of these you think would classify for your online data type? Which one of these would store a set of words? What do you think? Anybody? That data type would be called text, but in version 2019, it's called short text. If you're using an older version, you'll just see the word text, but either or, it's the same exact thing. It's just that one is renamed, right? So your description would be text. Your cost is made up of dollars and cents. Which one of these data types here is made up of dollars and cents?
Currency.
Very good. Currency stores dollar and cents amounts. Very good. So this one will be currency, right? Number in stock is made up of what here? A set of what? Anybody? It's made up of a set of what? What does this look like to you? It's made up of what? Vikash Prasad. What is this data type here? Vikash Prasad.
Which one, miss?
I'm not hearing you. What's that?
I say which one? The data type. Wow.
What does this look like to you? If you don't think hard, what is this? When you look at this, it tells you what?
Numbers.
A number, exactly. So your data type here is just like item number. They are both made up of only numbers, exactly. Now, when you all get a database to design, you all have to look at your data and you have to come up with your own data types, right? It's not like when you're designing a database, they will come and give you all of this information. No. So you have to come up with this information on your own. Hence how I am trying to show you how to look at it and determine what it is. And if you remember, we did a past paper question last week that asked us to determine how many different data types was used on a database. So even for the exam, you all need to know how to decipher the type of data types that is being used. So that's a good one, Vikash. Another person, storeroom. What do you think storeroom data type would be? Somebody else. Jelena, any thoughts? Storeroom.
Auto
What?
number.
No, it is not an auto number. Auto number means automatic numbering. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So automatically you cannot duplicate a number, right?
Oh, okay.
The storeroom is not auto number because values are duplicated. So what data type could be used here? It's not auto number because auto means automatic. Automatic means it would not repeat the same thing twice. Try again, but you're onto something. This looks like what? If I just write this for you on the board, these are what? Examples of what? Jelena? Elijah?
Yep.
Example of what? What is it? It looks like I'm saying what to you? Examples of?
Numbers.
Exactly. So storeroom would also be number. Very good, Elijah. And we are going to look at the last one, which is supplier, which is this field here. So your supplier field, what sort of data type is used here? It's made up of a set of words. A set of words is what data type? We did it previously. A set of words is what type is what data type? Somebody else. Jayden, any thoughts?
Text.
Very good, Suri. Yes, it is called text. But like I said, the version I am working on is called short text. Oh, yeah, and on the newer version, on the older version, sorry, you will just see text by itself. But either way, it means the same thing. So let's look at these data field names and data types. Do we understand this here, this little table here? Because for the paper one questions, you all could be asked questions like this, like to determine how many data types we used. So if we had to determine how many data types we use number, we use text, and we use currency. So there was a total of 3 data types that are being used here. We have 6 fields, but only 3 types of data types was used. 3 was duplicated elsewhere, right? But there are only 3 data types that were used in creating this inventory table. Do we understand this part? Everybody? Is that a yes?
Yes,
These
ma'am.
things that I'm going through, these could be possible paper one questions. That's why I'm asking, do you understand? Do you understand? Raise your hands. Let me know if you understand.
Yes, miss.
Right?
Is it you know about this whole this table thing? Is it known as a database?
Yes. That is why I have that here. The entire thing is known as a
A
database. That is correct.
database.
Mm-hmm. All right, but I'm asking this part here. Do we understand this part here? The field names we got from on the top. You are to determine the data types. How do you determine the data types? You look at the type of data that is entered. You look at your definitions for your different data types, and you determine which one is the best fit. All right, so now I'm going to move this out of the way. Right, remember the example that I am still using is which is the table above. Now, for those of us who are doing the actual database with me, I need you all to take this down for me. So drop two columns, one called field name, the other called data type, and I want you to write out this for me. Write out your field name quickly and put in your data types, right? Put in the information because we need this to go ahead and create the database. I need this piece of information. Right? And I don't want to be switching back and forth, so let's just take down that small piece there. So draw two columns, one called field name, one called data type. Fill out your field names, fill out your data types, and let's continue with the question.
Excuse me, miss. You write this one table down here,
This, yeah, this.
and then you have to type it and
But yes,
the.
all I said was take this down. I will help you answer it. I just need you to take this down, write it out, and that's it. That's all I'm saying. As those of you who are taking it down, as soon as you're finished taking it down, let me know so that we can actually enter it. I can show you how to enter it on Microsoft Access. When you're finished, just raise your hand so I'll know that you have finished taking it down. Are we done for taking it down, everybody?
Yes, miss.
Good. Okay. So I am going back to the database now because we have it taken down already. So I'm going back to the database. And for those of you who are typing with me in Access, you all are there by item number. So what you can do, you can hit enter or you can click to move across here, or even your tab key, however you choose to move, or your arrow key that points to the right hand side. So you're going to come across under data type, and we are going to set our data type, and our data type for item number is set on number. So how do you set your online data type? When you come across, you click on your arrow here and you will see number. So just click on number here. And that is how you will get your first data type, which is number. Tell me when you have done that first one, those of us who are working in Access. Are you all there? So your first one is item number. Your second one is description. We're going to come across by data type and you're going to choose, and automatically short text comes up, right? Or just the word text on your computer. Cost, so take a look at what I'm doing. Cost, and the data type for cost is set on currency. So you just click on your drop down arrows and you change them. Number in stock is a number. Next. That's it there. So enter all of them. For those of us who are working with me, go ahead and enter all of your data types. Make sure it's correct. Make sure you have what I have.
Miss, what you do with the short text if the short text wasn't even on the list after
So
drop
what do
the
you
arrow?
have on your list? Text? What do you have on your list?
Yes.
Text? Well, that's what I'm saying. I just said the newer versions have short text and the older version has the word text. I also said it means the same exact thing. So you go ahead and use text. That is perfectly correct.
Okay. Okay.
If you do not see short text, go ahead and use text because it's one and the same. While you all are entering the information there, let me just explain what is happening here on the screen. When we come into table design, it's broken up into 3 columns. We have field name, we have data type, and description. Notice that your description column is an optional column. You have to enter your field name. You have to enter your data type. All right, so your field name comes directly from in the question, and the data type, you have to determine your data types by looking at the information, which is what we just did. We look at the information and we determine what are the data types. Your description, like I said, is optional. Your description is if you want to type in some short few words based on the field name. So for example, I'll just give you an example for the first one. Item number, I can just tell you that the purpose of that field is that it stores like that. So it's short description. So you can choose to give your information short descriptions. These short descriptions will come up at the bottom of the screen when you're entering information into your table. It comes up on your table when you're entering information. But it's optional. You don't need you don't have to fill it out. What you have to fill out is these two fields here.
We type it in. No, the storage of item numbers and inventory.
You if you want here, you can go ahead and you can put that in. For those of us who are doing the actual database with me, if you all want to go ahead and give it and fill in your description column, you can, right? But like I'm telling you, it is optional. You don't need to fill it out because it works with or without the description. The database will work. So how did we create a table? To create our table, we click on create, we click on table design. We click on create, we click on table design, we came up to here. And what are we doing here? We are entering our field names and data types, right? Enter information for field names and data types. Okay, guys, moving on. Everybody's finished entering. Those of you who are entering the data with me, are you all finished? Before I move on, you all are finished? You can just raise your hand and just let me know if you are finished.
And
No?
What?
Okay, go ahead. Right, okay.
What are we typing?
Where are you, Shaquille? Which one are you in here?
I already done type all of it, so I was in store. All right, type the store item number of inventory.
Okay, so you did all of this already, right?
Okay.
Yes? No,
I'm on the second. I'm on the second row that you're on.
okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, that.
Right. So then you're done. Okay. All right, guys. So what we are going to do, like I said, if you want to continue filling out this, you can, but it's optional. So I'm not bothering to fill it out, right? So for the rest of us, what we are going to do, those of us who are working with me on the laptop, those of you who are not, just please pay attention to what's happening. Because we have finished entering our field names and we've finished entering our data types, we are going to save, right? We're going to save what we did just now. So we are going to save our table. So how do you save your table? You save your table by clicking on your quick save icon. How do you save your table? By clicking on your quick save icon. So after entering the field names and after entering the data types in our table design, I have to save what I just typed. And to save what I just typed, I'm going to click on my save icon. So everybody click on the save icon. And this will come up. Click on your save icon and this will come up. I will name my table inventory because that's the example that we are using, and on the example it's saved as inventory. So we're going to type in inventory. Are we there, everybody who's working with me? Yes? When you type in inventory, you will click on OK. A message comes up on your screen. Your message is asking you to define something called a primary key. What is a primary key? What is a primary key? So you could take this down for me as a definition. What is a primary key? I'm just putting it here for you. You could take it on here for me. What is a primary key? A primary key is a key in a database that is unique for each record. It is a unique identifier such as a driver's license. Just take the definition first and then I'll explain it to you. Right? A primary key is a unique identifier. So let's look at these pieces of information that we have here. Right? A unique identifier means that that piece of information cannot be duplicated. So the example that is used here would be a driver's license. Why? Because no two persons will have the same driver's license number. That number is unique. It identifies you. That is an example of a primary key. When you all sign up to write exams, you are given something called a candidate number. Your candidate number identifies you and you alone. No two persons would have the same candidate number. Therefore, your candidate number is an example of a primary key. Your passport number. Your passport number belongs to you and you alone. Again, no two persons would have the same passport number. Your ID card number. People can have the same date of birth, but at the end of your ID card number, there's three numbers that is added at the end that makes that number unique. So even though people have the same date of birth, those last three numbers make it different. Therefore, your ID card is an example of a primary key. Your birth paper pin belongs to you and you alone. Right? Your birth paper pin belongs to you and you alone. Therefore, your birth paper pin is an example of a primary key. Okay, so primary keys is basically unique pieces of information that is used to identify a record. All right, it's a unique piece of information that is used to identify a record. And you can set a primary key in one of two ways. You can allow Microsoft Access to create one for you, or you could manually create a primary key, right? So the primary keys can be created in one of two ways, either manually or automatically. Take down this definition, everybody, for what is a primary key, and then we are going to move on. By a show of hands, can I see if you all have finished taking it down? Good. Okay, so I am moving back to my access screen. Good. Thank you, guys. Right. So this message was asking me, do I want to define a primary key? At this point, I can either choose yes or I can choose no. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose yes only because I want to show you a new data type, right? So I'm going to choose yes. So those of you who are working with me, please click yes. Click yes to your message for primary key. I want you to notice, those of us who click on yes, even those of us who are looking on my screen, you would see above item number, we now have a new field added there. And that field is called ID. The data type is set at something called auto number. So you will see what this field type does, right? Auto number. And if you look on the side here, there's a diagram of a key, and that key indicates that that particular field is the primary key field, right? So that's why that key is up on the top there. That tells you it's the primary key field. What we have done here, we have just designed our table. We have designed our table by entering the field names, the data types. We are telling Microsoft Access what type of information we want to enter and so on, right? So we have just entered our specifications for our table. Those of you who are working with me, when you are finished typing in this information, please raise your hand so I'll know that I can move on from this point. Those of us who are typing on the laptop, please raise your hand when you are done so I can move on. This view that we're looking at right now is called design view, right? Remember, I went to design table. So this table here that we are looking at right now is called design view. And in Microsoft Access, you could switch in between views, right? This one is called design view. When you're finished typing, I have an icon here called view. In my group and views, I have an icon called view. And I can actually switch in between two views when I'm doing a table. Design view is where I set the specifications for the table. Datasheet view is where I actually enter data for my table. So one is to set the specification. Two is used to enter the data. So those are your two different views for our table, design view and datasheet view. And there was also a question last week that we did in one of the papers that asked us to identify what view was being shown. So all these little things, you will have to pay attention to it. Are we finished typing up here? Those of us who are typing, I'm telling you all to raise your hand. I'm not seeing anything happening, so I'm not sure if you're typing or not typing. So if you are finished typing, please raise your hand so that I would know. Good, thank you, good. Thank you guys. Vikash Prasad, are you there with me? You there with me?
Yeah, miss.
Okay, good, just checking. All right, because I didn't see you raise your hand, that's what I'm asking.
Oh.
Okay. Right, so we are going now to click on Datasheet View. So click on View and click on Datasheet View. Those of you who are typing with me, click on View and click on Datasheet View. The rest of you just continue paying attention on screen. Those of us who are typing with me, are you all there as yet on Datasheet View?
Yes, miss.
Good. So I'm going to click Datasheet on my end. This is what Datasheet View looks like. In Datasheet View, I can actually enter information. And you notice that zeros are set here because these fields indicates a number. In cost, you are seeing $0.00 because remember, we set this to be currency. Remember that, guys? Yeah? So remember, from ID to supplier, these names on the top here, ID, item number, description, cost, number in stock, storeroom, supplier, these words on the top here, they are known as your field names, right? Those words on the top are called your field names. Your fields are your actual columns, right? Your fields are your actual columns, and your rows represents your records. So what we are going to do, we are going to enter our first record. Those of you who are typing with me, we are going to enter our first record. Now, ID is set at new. ID was also set at auto number. That word auto means automatic, which means that we don't have to enter anything here for ID. So on your keyboard, I want you to press your key called Tab. When I press Tab, it's going to take me directly under item number. It's going to take me directly under item number. And I'm going to type an item number there. So that's my first item number. So you type exactly what I have. Notice when I type my item number, you would notice that ID changes to 1. So the application starts to number all my records to me, right? So this is number 1. This is my first record. When you type your item number, hit tab again. So to move from box to box, we are going to be using our tab key. We're going to type in a description there. When you finish typing, hit tab again. You can resize your columns just like how we resize in Excel. The cost of this item, I don't need to enter any dollar signs. I will, however, enter the point, right? Because the point is important. $5.75. I hit tab again. The dollar sign is going to come in for itself. Hit tab again. So just keep hitting tab to move. What we have entered there, you have just entered your first record. So this on the top is your first record that we have entered. Enter this first record line for me and tell me when you all are done. Raise your hand in the participants, raise your hand so that I would know that you have entered your first one. Good. I'm seeing one person is done. Her hand is up. I'm seeing 2 persons now. Good. Another person. Great. Those of you who are working on your laptop, Shavin, did you get the laptop? Are you working with me? Right. I saw Tyreek, your hand is up as well. Okay, very good. So you have entered your first record. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill in the others and you guys are going to type it in as well, right? So I'm going to type in the others now. So you all go ahead and fill it in. And I'm leaving that one at 0 because that's what I'm seeing in the example. So I'm just following exactly what's on the example here.
This I have a little problem.
What's that?
You know, when I type in this, there's this the exclamation mark. I
Yeah.
enter new value because
And
this would not
where is it coming up?
on the cost. Well, I just type in the
This one?
the
Don't
25.
don't type in the $sign. Just type 5.75.
Oh, okay.
I just said don't enter the $sign. You just enter in 5.75 and press tab, and the $sign will come up itself.
Got it.
Right, so you're going to take down this information on your table. Remember, you can make your fields wider by dragging to make everything fit. You can make your fields wider, just like how you do it in Excel, same thing. Notice something for me. Notice that any of your columns that had numbers in it, any sort of numbers, notice that numbers automatically go to the right-hand side of your field. Are you all seeing that? Any fields that contains numbers, those fields, it always goes on the right-hand side. And when you have text like description and supplier, it's to the left of the column. So text is to the left of the column and numbers goes to the right of the column. All right, guys, so welcome back from lunch, and we are going to continue with this exercise. So everybody should have this, those of you who are typing, you all should already have this piece of information typed out here. So we have entered data for our first table, right? I want to give you a small exercise just to see for those of us, right? Do you want to save changes? I'll choose yes. If you want to reopen your table, you just come here on the left-hand side, you double click on the name and it comes up, right? If I want to get back to design view, when I open the table, I come to view, I go to design view, I could switch in between my views. Are you guys seeing that? So you can switch in between design view and datasheet view, but you have to first open the table and then you can switch in between your views. All right, I just want to share my screen with you again. Hold on. Right. I will do it just now, but for those of us who are doing it, this piece here, we're looking at the top. All right, we're going to look at the piece on the top here, and we are going to start entering this data, right? So let's just go through it firstly and see what we have to do. We have to create a table. So that means we're going to create another table, and the name of that table is going to be storage, right? So we are creating a table. The name of the table is storage. In this one, we are going to fill out the field name, we are going to fill out the data type, and we are going to fill out the description. Now, in this particular example, you are actually given the data type, so you didn't have to determine what were your data types. And when we finish entering this, we would enter this information using our datasheet view. But first, we have to concentrate on up here. So we are going to create a new table, right? We are going to create a new table firstly. So how do we create a table? I'm switching back my screen again. So I'm going to create a table. How do I create a table? Click on create everybody and choose table design. That's it. Click on create and click on table design. And what we are going to do now, I am going to enter this piece of information here. So I'm going to type out the field name. I'm going to type out the data type, and I'm going to fill out the description here for this particular question. Okay, so I am going back to Access, and I'm going to do that. So you can type from on my screen, right?
Excuse me, miss. Should we
Yeah,
type that?
okay. Yes, I just said you are following from on my screen and you are typing. I just said that. Right, so you fill out what I have on my screen. All right, guys, continue working on that. When you're done, please raise your hand so that I'll know that you're finished. All right, guys, we should be done typing this, right? I'm just going to go back to my question for a minute. So let's just follow where we are in the question. Good. So, right. So we have entered this part here. Let's see what it says. It says enter the following records, which is underneath here. It says make storeroom a primary key. So what is a primary key again? A primary key is a unique identifier that identifies a record. And I am going to manually set a primary key because the question says make storeroom a primary key. So how do I do that? I'm going to make storeroom a primary key. So I click in the row that has storeroom and I click on this icon here, which is primary key. So do that for me, those of you who are following. Click by the words storeroom, come up on your screen and click on primary key. You'll see the key icon appear when you click on it. So make storeroom into a primary key. Are we finished with that? The primary key, everybody who is following? Right? What I want to do now is save what I did. So to save what you did, you click on your save button. And I'm going to type in the name. The name of this is going to be, that's the name of my table, storeroom. No, it's not storeroom. It's called STO. Storage. That's the name of the table, storage.
Is it okay? You could rename it.
Yes, you could. Right, and I'm going to click OK. I'm going to switch my view. So I come to view and I'm going to come to Datasheet View. Everybody click on view and come to Datasheet View. We are going to enter some information now. Right, Shaquille, you could rename it after, right? Let's just enter the information. Right, please enter what I have. You start typing on your end as well.
Yes, I click save, but it doesn't work.
I mean, it doesn't work. What are we talking about now? You mean when you come up here and you click? You're talking about this up here? You can't rename it yet. Go ahead. I said switch your view and type, and I will show you how to rename it afterwards. So come to view and go to Datasheet View for me, and please enter this information.
Which view?
You click on view, Shaquille.
Yeah.
There's only one view to choose right now, Datasheet View, because you're on design view currently. So click on Datasheet View.
Okay. Okay, I did it. So now I have to
go ahead and type.
Rename it. This is hard.
To type?
Nah, when I click the save, if I click rename, you can't rename a database object table one
I
while it's open.
just told you that we are not renaming it as yet. You're not
Oh,
following what
okay.
I'm saying. I told you switch your view to
Yeah.
Datasheet View and
Yeah, I
type.
did that.
Right, we cannot change the name as yet. I know you cannot change it. That's why I'm telling you to follow the instructions. Listen to what I'm saying. When we are
Okay.
finished typing, I will show you how to rename it.
Okay. Okay. That was a bit too rushy.
When we are finished typing these 3 records, please raise your hand so that I will know that you are finished. Please raise your hand when you're done. Good. I have 1 person who's finished.
Excuse me.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Well, isn't it? I just click the save object as, and I see the save as table 1 to copy of table 1, I guess. No, it's change it to storage.
What are you talking about? Did you already type in this to me here?
Yes.
Okay. What are you asking me then?
And
Are you asking me how to rename the table?
save table 1 to storage.
Type it in and click OK. See what happens. Right, guys. So for those of us who are following along, right? We are now going to, now that we have finished typed up this information here, we are going to close our table, right? So I'm going to close my storage table. Now your tables appear on the left-hand side, right? Your table names appear on the left-hand side. If you need to rename a table, you can right-click on the table name and you would see the word rename. That's how you would rename a table. Right-click on the table name and you can choose rename. You can also choose to delete your table if you do not need it as well. But if you need to rename, this is how you rename. Right-click and rename. Just like how we do a folder, it's the exact same way how you will do it in Access if you have to rename a table. Remember to reopen your table. You double-click on your table name, it will reopen. Right? Double-click and it will reopen. And you keep closing it off with the X. Right? So what we have done so far, we have designed our table, right? We have designed our table. Now I am moving on to a different database object. And the database object that I am moving on to, I am going to move on to a database object known as a form. Now, I can use a form to view or enter data, right? I can use a form to view or enter data. However, I already have my data entered into my table, which means that I'm not going to use the form to enter data, but rather I'm going to show you how you can view your information in a different object, right? So we are going to view our information. In this case, we're going to view our information on form. So let's go together. So to create a form, everybody, we click on create on here, right? Which is your create tab. Click on create, and I'm coming here by form wizard. So I click on create and I click on form wizard. Right? It comes up here that if it's a trustworthy source, it is. So I'll just click open here because I know it's safe data. So if you get any message like that, go ahead and choose open. So we click on create and we click on form wizard and this box comes up here. When this box comes up here, we are going to go ahead. Now you can pick and choose if you want certain fields to be shown on the form, but I am going to use all of my fields, right? So to move all of my fields, I will click on my double arrows. So I click on create, I click on form wizard, right? So create form wizard, this box comes up. My table is inventory. If I wanted to change it, I would click here and I will also see storage. So you'll see both of your tables in there, but I'm going to leave it on my inventory table. I am going to move across all my fields. So I am going to move it with my double arrows. You choose whichever layout you want for your form. I am going to choose Datasheet View. And at this point, I can give my form a name and click on finish. Right? It looks similar, but it's different. If you look at the icon, it's different. It says inventory form. It's different. We are going to create a second form, this time using our storage table. So let's go together. Everybody, please close off your inventory form with the small black X on the right-hand side. Close off your inventory form. Come back to your database window looking like this. We are going to create our storage form. How do you create your storage form? Click on create, everybody, and go to form wizard. So everybody should be here. Those of you who are following on, who are doing it with me, we should be here. We are changing our table So our storage table. Change your inventory table to your storage table by clicking on your drop-down arrow. We are going to move everything across, so do that for me. We're going to click on next. You're going to choose a layout for your form. Let's choose, I'm going to leave it on columnar, right? Let's just leave it on that style. That's called columnar. Let's see what that style looks like, columnar. I'm going to click on next. I am coming here and I am going to type in just the word form at the end. So that's the name, storage form, and then you're going to click on finish. You could no longer click on next because it looks gray in color. So we go ahead now and we can click on finish. This is what columnar view looks like. It's telling you here that we have one of 3 records here. And to move in between your records, there's a button here called next record. And you keep clicking on that and it takes you forward, and the arrow here takes you backwards. So this moves you forward for next record, and this moves you to your previous record, right? So these buttons allow you to move back and forth. So in columnar, we can view the records one at a time. However, in Datasheet View, we could view everything at once. And that's how we create a form, that's it. So we did tables so far and forms. So we did 2 database objects so far, tables and forms. When you're finished viewing your form, you can close it at the top here. Everything that you create appears on the left-hand side. Okay, guys, so we will take a short 15 minutes break and we will come back at 1:15 and we will continue with this database question. Okay, guys, so for those of us who are now coming in, we created this morning, we created 2 tables and 2 forms, right? This is what we did so far. Let me just share something with you. So I'm gonna send this document for you guys after class, right? So this morning we discussed, just to give you a brief recap what we did this morning, we did we started to discuss database, and we looked at our database type. We looked at it being manual, we looked at it being a computerized version. We also looked at different examples of each, right? So you have examples here of each, right? The examples for this can be seen below. Right, then we went on to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of a computerized database, right? We went on to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of the computerized database. After which we went on to understand a definition for what is database management systems, and then we looked at different database objects. So far we have done table and form. We still have to do queries and reports, right? So this is what we are looking at right now, these different objects.
Miss, I have a question.
Sure.
Because we're only doing paper 1 for EDPM, that means we're not getting any of the Word and like all that stuff, the typing.
Well, hold on. Okay, guys, so for exams, I would like you all to continue to learn everything as usual, because you need to have all of your knowledge to answer your questions, right? So I don't want you all to think that you're not going to take your exams seriously, right? So we are continuing now with the question. We did some terms and some definitions, right? Database, table, record, and fields, right? Then we went on to discuss data types and our different data types and when to use different data types. I did an example with the class. So we actually did this inventory table in Access where we came up with our data types, right? We came up with our data types and whatnot. I went through with the class what is a primary key. And we just did another table here based on storage, right? We did another exercise here just now where we created a second table called storage. On those two tables, what we did after that, we created two forms based on our tables, right? So two reports based on our tables. So let me go back. So that is where we are here. We are going now to look at how to create a report. Right? We are going now into how to create a report. So what is a report used to do? A report is used to summarize and view data. A report is used to view and summarize data. So how do we create a report? To create a report, we'll click on the report tab. Okay, when we click on the report tab, we are going to click on this option here, which is report wizard. Right, I just had to make my screen a little bit smaller because Zoom is blocking my screen on the top, right? So we go to create, guys. We go to our reports grouping and I click on report wizard. Now we could create a report based on certain fields, or you could create a report based on all your fields. So let's say, let me go to my inventory table. So I want everybody who is actually doing it on their computers, I want you all to reach at this point for me. So I want you to click on reports and go to report wizard and let this box come up. Raise your hands when you are there for those of you who are physically doing it. Is everybody there with me? Those of you who are doing it on your system, are you there with me? Please raise your hand so that I'll know that you all are there. Good. Great. Okay, so moving on. I want to do a report. Let's click on our inventory table. Let's click on our inventory table. How do you click your inventory table? Click on your drop-down arrow and choose your inventory table and it will come up.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Miss. Are those for the people who already came to class, or?
Yes. Yes, Shaquille. Those of I just said those of you who are typing the information, that's who I'm speaking to.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna choose your inventory table. So those of you who are on your laptop and you are following with me, who typed up the information previously, those are the people who are working with me right now. You are to choose your inventory table. Let's take some of the, right, I'm just going to take some of the items. I'm not going to take all of the items, right? So I'm going to pick and choose. So I'm going to take this, click on description, and I'm going to move it with my single arrow. I'm going to take cost. I'm going to move that with my single arrow. And I'm just going to take number in stock. That's it. So just those three things: description, cost, and number in stock. That's the difference in using the single arrow and the double arrow. The double arrow moves everything from the left to the right, but your single arrow moves the specific fields that you want. Right, you guys there with me? So we're going to go ahead now and click on next. Do you want to add any grouping levels? The only time we group is when we are grouping like something data, right? So for example, right, if I had added, let me just click back here. Let me add supplier just to show you, right? So go back and add supplier, everybody. And I'm going to click on next again. And I'm going to take supplier and I'm going to move it with my single arrow. Right, and we'll see what grouping does just now. Is everybody here with me? When I group a field, it appears in blue on the top of the page.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm going to click on next. It's going to ask me here if I want to sort anything. And if I click here, I can choose if I want to sort my information, right?
Okay.
Maybe I can sort description. So choose description. It automatically sorts in ascending order. So if you click your button, you'll see descend. But let's leave it on ascending order. Sort description in ascending order. So choose description from this drop-down arrow here for me. I'm going to ask you guys to please mute your mics because I'm getting a lot of background noises coming up. Thank you.
Excuse me, miss. Why was this still for the students who come here, or?
It's for everybody.
Oh, sorry.
Right, guys. So you all should have chosen description from on your drop down, and we are going to click on next. You can choose whatever layout you want. Let's see. Maybe I could choose outline. Let's see what outline layout looks like. And you could change the orientation of your page. If you want portrait or landscape, let's choose landscape.
Miss, I'm lost.
Which
I'm
screen are
lost.
you on? Are you on this screen?
No,
Are you on this screen?
no, miss.
Are you on that screen?
No, miss.
Are you on this screen?
Yes, miss.
Great. Choose these 4 things for me.
Got it.
Good. Click on next.
I wasn't on the screen. I wasn't on that one.
Choose supplier from on this side and move it with just single arrow for me.
All right, just click supplier and okay, this is tough.
Did you choose supplier on the left-hand side?
Yeah, I click supplier on the right hand, so
This is your, look here. This is your right hand and this is your left hand. You could only click supplier on your left-hand side and move it here with just single arrow. It will show up here. This has nothing, we don't have to click anything here. The clicking is happening on this side here. Did you do that already? This supplier come up here in blue.
no, miss. I
Is supplier here then?
no. Okay,
Did you move supplier across here?
Yes, miss.
So when you come across here, are you seeing 4 things here?
No.
How many are you seeing?
Oh, I came here. I just clicked the columnar, tabular, datasheet, or justify.
Let's go again, you and me. I want you to cancel your box. Cancel your box on your end for me. Let's start over from scratch. Click on create and go to report wizard for me.
Yeah.
Good. Come here and choose your inventory table for me.
Yeah, I choose what. Yeah, I choose it.
I want you to take these 4 items from on this side and move it across using your single arrow. So click description, move it with your single arrow. Click cost, move it with your single arrow. Click supplier, move it with your single arrow. Click number in stock, move it with your single arrow. So move all 4 across on this side. Do you have these 4 things here? Tell me when.
Yes.
Click on next to me.
Still there.
You can't be still there if you're clicking on next.
Oh, I forgot. I was in the wrong place. Form. Wait. Just click form with form, something like that.
Report. I'm telling you to click on report wizard, not form wizard. Report wizard.
Oh, God.
Cancel your box and please restart if you're not on report wizard. Click on create. Look, report wizard is here.
Oh, see it. Got it. Okay. Just click description, cost, supplier, number in stock. Okay. Supplier.
Is your second screen this screen here now?
Description. Yeah. Yes, miss.
Click supplier now and move it with your single arrow.
Done.
Click on next for me.
Okay.
Click on your drop down and description. Click on next.
Yeah.
Choose outline and landscape.
I'm playing landscape. Got it.
Next. Everybody should be at this stage now. Inventory report. Just add the word report at the end. And then choose finish. let's take a look at this report. All your suppliers are grouped together. So your supplier for caves, this is what you are getting from caves. You are getting blue ankle socks, brown ankle socks, and white ankle socks. From your supplier, whose name is Socks Are Us, you are getting brown and knee-high socks. You are getting gray knee-high socks, khaki, and white knee-high socks. So what did Groupin do? Groupin took all of your like data and put it together. So all your cave supplies is in one area, and all your Socks Are Us is in one area as well. So view, now notice you can only view the information here. I cannot click anywhere and I cannot type anything anywhere. The only thing I can do on my report is summarize and view data. That's it. We can't do anything else here, right? So this is your inventory report. If anybody has any questions on report, please raise your hand if you have any questions on reports. Right? So the only thing we can do here is view our information. So that is the purpose of our report, right? I'm not seeing anybody raising their hand, so I'm just assuming that everybody understands reports. So we have done another database object, which is reports. Sure, sorry, go ahead. Do you have a question for me?
No.
Oh, okay then. Right? So what did we use our table for, right? Let's just go over that. What did we use our table for, right? I'm just going to design view. Remember, this view is called the design view, right? The other view, which is here, is called Datasheet View. This view is called Datasheet View, right? So what did we use our table for? We used our table to set the specifications for our database. So we typed in our field names and we entered our data types. Then we went on to forms. What did we use our form to do? In this case, we used our form to simply view the data only because we entered the data previously. If you do not enter data into your table, you can always enter data into your form because both table and forms can be used for data entry. The purpose of the report is only to view and summarize your data. You can't enter anything in your report. It's just to view and summarize what you are looking for. Got that? So we have done 3 database objects. Okay, we have done 3 database objects. I want us to take, it's 1:40. Let's take a 10 minutes break. And when we come back, we look at the next database object. Right, that's 10 minutes. So by 1:50, you all should be back on. Right, guys, so we should be back. So we are going now to create our last database object, and it's called a query, right? We are going to do queries. Queries gives us an answer to a criteria or to a question, right? It gives us an answer to a criteria or to a question, right? So we are going to implement now a query and see how a query works. So everybody click on create. Right? And when I say everybody, it's obviously the people who are working with me, who have a laptop, who have the software, right? If you don't, you will just keep following along. Click on create for those of you who are working with me. All right, so let's click on query. Let's click on create. We have a group in here that's called queries. That's everybody who's working with me. Do you see your queries grouping? Please raise your hand in the participant list if you see your grouping for queries. Perfect. Very good. Okay, good guys. Good. Okay, let us click on, let's click on query design. Let's click on query design. Let us click on query design. And let us click on inventory and click add at the bottom to add our table. Let's add our inventory table. So click on inventory, click on add. And then let's click on close. Those of you who are working with me, is everybody here? Does everybody's screen look like how my screen look? Raise your hand if yes. Good, thank you guys, great. Let me just go back, let's just go back. Let me just go back to the question and see what data I have. Okay, let me look at my table. I want to find out something simple. I want to find out how many items caves supply, right? So let's assume we don't know how many items caves supply. So let's see how many items caves supply. So I want to find out the items that caves supply. So we are going to take a couple of these fields. So I want description and supplier, just those two things. So double click description, then double click supplier, and they appear at the bottom here of your screen. Tell me when your screen looks like mine. Raise your hand so I would know that you are with me. Those of you who are working with me, raise your hand so I'll know. Good. Look at this area here. Field, description, very good guys, thank you. Description and supplier are names of fields. Both these fields belong to our inventory table, right? I'm not going to sort anything, but you can choose to sort ascending and descending by clicking in your sort area. I'm going to leave the word show with these correction signs because show means that I'm able to see those fields when I run my query. Criteria is where I will type in what I am looking for. So I am looking for caves. Caves is the name of a supplier. So type in caves in your column with supplier under the correction sign, type in the word caves for me. It doesn't matter uppercase or lowercase, as long as it's typed correctly, spelled correctly, caves. So your criteria is caves. When you type in your criteria, please raise your hand so I'll know that you are there with me. Good. To actually get the answer, I need to run my query. So there's an icon here, right? Your results tab, there's an icon there called run. It looks like an exclamation mark. Click on your run icon for me. When you click on run, you will see that Supplier Caves supplies you with 3 items, white ankle socks, blue and brown ankle socks as well. So you're able to pull your information from your inventory table. You are able to pull that Caves supplies us with 3 particular items. When you click on run, you should get this coming up. So this is your answer to your query. When you get your answer, we are going to click on save to save it. Type in a name for your query and choose OK. Is everybody here with me? Raise your hand if you're here with me and click OK. Raise your hand when you save it. When you save it, just click on your save button and type in a name for your query. Good. Great, guys. Good. You will close your query and notice that your query appears on your left-hand side of your database window. If you want to view your query, you can double-click to open it. If you want to see the criteria that you typed in, you can change your view. So you come down here and you click on Design View. This is where we were earlier. So you go to Design View to view your criteria. To view your answer again, you click on your drop down here by View and switch it back to Datasheet View. So the two views that we are working in is in Design View and Datasheet View. Close with your small x when you're finished viewing. Is everybody there with me? Please raise your hand if you are there with me. Raise your hand if you understand what we are doing so far and if you are there with me. Raise your hands if you understand what is happening. Good. Good. Great. Good, guys. Very good. You all can put down your hands. Very good. Let's try another query. So let me take a look at my table again. Let me see what else we could query for. Let me see. Okay, so I have price. Let's say I want to find out where the price of an item is less than $5, right? I want to find out where the cost of an item is less than $5, right? I want to find out where cost is less than $5, right? That is my criteria. So let's do a query again together. Click on Create, everybody. And we are coming on Query Design. Click on Query, Create, sorry, and we are clicking on Query Design. Tell me when you guys are here with me. Raise your hands if you are at this point. So we click on Create and we click on Query Design. We came up to here. We are going to click our inventory table. I'm using that same table again. So I'm going to click my inventory table and click on Add. Then Close. Click on Inventory, click Add, then click Close. Right, so I want to find out where my items are less than $5. So let's double click description and cost. I want to find out, like I said, where items is less than $5. I will get the answer in this, I'll have to type my criteria in my cost column. So click under the correction sign in the column with cost. Less than $5. Notice I have to use this symbol for less than, right? It's not like we type in all the words less than. You use your operator, which is your symbol. When you type your criteria, we are going to run our query. These are your items that are less than $5. White, blue, white knee-high, there was no cost for that, and blue and brown ankle socks. So your answer should look like that. When you're finished, you're going to click on Save up here for me. Give your query a name and click on OK. Click on OK. Those of you who are working with me, did we get through with those two queries? Please raise your hand if the answer is yes. I want to create another query. This time we are going to use our storage table, right? Let's use a different table, right? I'm going to use my storage table. So we're going to create another query. So click on Create, and you're coming to Query Design. Right, so click on your storage table and click on Add for me. Then click on Close. If you are there where I am, please raise your hand. Good. Right, click on Close to close your box. Let us double click some fields. I'll take Manager, Location, and Capacity. 3 things. Manager, Location, Capacity. I want to find out where my capacity is greater than 200. Where capacity is greater than 200. That's your criteria, greater than 200. Then we are going to click on Run to view our answer. Then click on the X to close. Am I correct? Am I to click on the X there to close? Or am I missing anything before that?
Save.
Very good. I should save first. Click OK. Click on the X to close it off. And that's how we do a query. So we have now completed all 4 database objects that we set out to do. Tables, queries, forms, and reports. Remember, if you want to view any of your design views, you can. All you have to do is right click on your object and you could click on design view, or you click on your object, open it, click on view, and go to design view. Either or, you'd be able to get design view.
Right.
Let's look at these little questions here at the bottom of this page. We have 2 tables on our screen. All right, we have 2 tables on our screen. Can anybody tell me what are the names of these tables? What are the names of these tables? Can anybody tell me? You can unmute your mics and give me the answer. What are the names of these 2 tables?
Companies.
Country and company.
Company and country. Very good. Yes. So the names of these 2 tables, you right, remember the table names is seen on the top. So this one is company and this one is country. So yes, so for A, the name of these tables are company and country. Everybody understands that? The name of the table appears on the top. Write the number of records in company. How many records besides Shaquille, besides Shavin? How many records do I have in my company table? How many records do I have in my company table? Anybody else besides those two people?
True.
Very good. Because remember, your records, another word for records is rows. Let's look at our company table. This is our company table here. How many rows of information do I have? 1, 2, 3. So that's correct. So the number of records in my company table is equal to 3. How many fields do I have in my country table? So besides Kevin, Shaquille, and Shavin, besides those 3 students, somebody else tell me how many fields is in the country table?
Miss 2.
Very good. Thank you, Bala. Yes, you have 2 fields. 1, 2. Remember, fields also represents columns. So yes, we have 2. So the answer there is 2. Very good. Let me ask you another question. Somebody else know. So besides Bala, Kevin, Shavin, and Shaquille, if I did a query, right? Say I did a query. And under my field for query, in my query, under my field country ID, I entered JA. I entered a query, criteria, JA. If I were to run that query, what country is going to come up? I enter a criteria JA in my query. When I run the query, what country is going to come up? What's the name of that country that is going to come up?
Jamaica.
Very good, Suri, right? Because JA represents Jamaica, right? Very good. Somebody else now. So besides the students who answer, somebody else now. I do a query. I enter the criteria athletes always running. I enter the criteria athletes always running. What company ID is going to come up there? I do a query.
AAR.
Very good, Jelena. AAR. Very good. Right? Because you're seeing it right here. Athletes always running. The company is AAR. So you will have I'm feeling a little bit confident because I'm seeing that you will understand how to look and how to interpret your data. Very good. Another question. I want everybody to work out this, but don't give me your answer yet. Looking at only the company table, right? Only company table. How many data types are used in the company table? How many and what are the types? How many data types are used in this table and what are the names of the data types? Take your time, look at your company table. It's 2 things I'm asking there. I'm calling somebody to answer. Who can answer that question for me now? I want to know how many data types I use in my company table and what are those data types that I would have used. Somebody who I didn't hear from. Jaden, would you like to help me out there? How many data types did I use in this table? When I was creating this table, how many data types did I use? Howard, can you help me out there? How many data types did we use in this table? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? How many data types did we use?
3.
3? Okay. What thing are those 3? Tell me. What are the 3 data types that we used? Tell me. Call them out. Right? So Howard is telling me 3. If the answer is 3, what are the data types that we use there? Does everybody agree with her that the answer there is 3? Did we use three different data types here? Nathaniel, how many data types did we use here? Howard told me 3. Do you agree with her? Yes or no?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so Nathaniel is saying that he agrees. So we have 2 people who agrees it's 3. Jaden, I'm still waiting for an answer from you. Jelena, do you agree? Is the answer 3? Is that the correct answer? Suri, is 3 the correct answer?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, Suri is also saying yes. Shavin, is the correct answer 3?
Miss, I'm not too sure about 3.
That's okay. I'm just doing a vote. Shavin, do you agree that the answer is 3?
Miss, I'm not too sure about 3. No, miss.
Okay, so Shavin does not agree, but so far the majority of the class said that they agree with the 3. Shavin, how many you think then? What do you think?
2.
So Shavin is saying that he thinks it's 2. Okay, so we have a lot of people saying 3. I have 1 person who is saying 2. Kevin, you are not telling me, do you think it's 3 or do you think it's 2 or do you think it's a different number? Kevin.
3.
Kevin is also saying 3. Kevin, can you identify the 3 data types used here?
Short text, long text, and number.
The answer is actually, guys, the answer is actually 2. It's actually not 3. The answer is actually 2. And I'll tell you why the answer is 2. All right, let me just show you something. I'm just switching back to here, right? Your text field can hold up to 255 characters. Your text field can hold up to 255 characters. I'm going back to the question. All right. Even though, so Kevin, so those of you who are telling me 3, you are thinking that this is short because it has 3 letters in it and 2 letters. So you are saying that's short, but you're thinking that this is longer. However, if you count the amount of characters in here, it will not amount to 255 characters, right? It will not amount to the amount of characters, which means that 1, 2, and 3 is actually using the same exact data type. So text, whether it's short text, whether it's just the word text, right? The answer for 1, 2, 3, the answer there is text. Company ID, company name, and country ID will all fall under text. And the reason why it is 1 data type is because even if you look at your short data type holds a maximum of 255 characters, and there is no way this is longer than 255 characters. If it's longer than that, then it becomes long text. Do we understand that? Yes? So company ID, company name, and country ID all fall under text, and then zip code is represented by a number. So there's really two data types that was used here, and those two data types were text and number. So those are the two data types that were used, text and number. How many, look at the country table now. How many data types were used in our country table? How many data types were used in our country table? Let me call on somebody else to answer. Tyreek, how many data types you think is used there in that country table? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? How many? How many data types we use there? Bala, how many data types we use there? Suri, how many data types you think was something used there? Go ahead, I'm listening. I see that you're on mute. Go ahead. What's the answer there? How many data types did we use for our country table?
Hold on, trying to get it.
What's that?
I'm trying to get it.
Okay.
One?
One. Exactly. The answer is one. And what is that one data type that was used?
Text?
Very good. That's it. Because remember, text is made up of what? It's something made up of letters, right? Very good. Let me give you a random. Let me put some examples here, and I want you all to tell me what data types they belong to, right? So look at this. I enter this. If I enter that into a database, what data type would this be? Unmute your mics, anybody. If I look at this data, what data type does this something belong to? What data type does this belong to? What does it look like? A bunch of what?
Yes, I can't see anything.
You not seen anything? Hold on, let me see. You're seeing it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is this? An example of what data type would this be?
It's a bunch of numbers.
Numbers.
So you would assume that the data type is?
Numbers.
Very good. I am typing this. What data type would that be?
Text.
Text, right? Because it is made up of numbers. Very good. How about this one? What would that be?
Text.
Very good. Because text is a combination of, in this case, it's a combination of letters and numbers. So because it's a combination, it is safe to say text. How about this one? What data type is that one now?
Number.
Who say number? Shavinu? How many people agree that this is number? How many people agree that that's a number?
Like phone number?
Yeah, okay, so do you think this here is something number? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so Shaquille think it's a number. I think Shavin told me it's a number. Who else agrees? Is this a number? Bala, Howard, do you all agree? Is it a number?
Yeah, it's a number.
It's a number. Okay, so Bala is saying yes. Kevin,
Yeah,
do you agree? Yeah, Howard says yes, so it's a number. Kevin, do you agree that that's a number?
Yeah.
I dare someone to say no.
The answer is actually it's actually not a number. Here's what it is. Is a dash or a hyphen a number?
Oh,
I was
Right?
watching that. I smart.
Right, exactly. So at a first glance, you will say it is a number. However, if you get this doing a database, guys, and you try to enter this as a number, every time you enter the dash, when you type 671 dash 2551 and you try to move on, an error message is going to come up.
So that makes it text.
Exactly. So this, even though to you at first glance it looks like a number, it's not. Because of the use of the dash, it becomes text. Yes, because of the use of the dash, it becomes text. Right? How about if we have a number like this?
Text.
Hey, I didn't finish yet.
Oh, okay.
um, just now. That would be
Text.
right. Now you can say so that it's called text. Why? Because it has a combination of a dash also text, right? So it becomes right. So you all could even get possible questions like this. How your questions are going to come, I don't know. But when you look at your data, you're supposed to determine your data type, right? So this was just a little exercise to get you all thinking a bit on how to choose data types. Okay. Any questions, me? Anybody have any questions that anyone want to ask? You guys okay? Let me look for another question for you all. Guys, I'm still here. I'm just looking for something for you all. Give me a second. Uh-huh. Let's look at this question here. Who thinks I have the answer to that question? Is it A, B, C, or D? The view that looks similar to an Excel spreadsheet is called what? Is it A, B, C, or D? Bala, go ahead.
I want to say A.
Yeah, A is actually correct, right? So let me go back and show you all that on my database. Remember, this view is called Datasheet View. All right, and earlier I told you all, just like in Excel, you all can come up and you can resize your columns, right? And this view is called Datasheet View. The view in which we type in, it is called Datasheet. And yes, this view is similar to that of Microsoft Excel in terms of working with rows and columns and resizing your columns and whatnot. So yes, that is a good guess, Bala. Your answer is A. Very good. Let me bring up another question for you. Okay, guys, just give me a second. I'm going to look up. Look at this other question here. A query, what does it do? A, B, C, or D? What is the purpose of the query? A, B, C, or D? What did we use it for just now? Who has an answer for that one besides Bala? Who has an answer for that one? Is it A, B, C, or D?
It's is Miss
Is which one?
A.
Okay, Shaquille is saying A. Anybody else? Nathaniel, what do you think is the answer? What do we use the query to do? A, B, C, or D?
D.
D, very good. We use our query to retrieve information, not so? We went into
Yeah.
our query. Yeah, we used our query to pull information from our database, not so?
Yeah.
We typed in a criteria. We were able to run the criteria. We didn't enter any information here. We pull the information, and pulling that information is called retrieving. Retrieve means to get. So we get information by typing in the criteria in our database using our query, right? So the answer there, right? So let me just go back to the question. So the answer is D. We use a query to retrieve or get information. Okay, let me give you another one. Right. I have two questions here. Which of the following is not a Microsoft Access database object? Which is not
Query.
an object? Which one? Sorry, you said query. Anybody else?
Yeah, I
Report.
heard that.
Which one is not a database object? We created 4 objects today. Which one of these we did not create?
Report.
We just created a report, sorry.
I didn't say reports.
How about form? Wait.
We just created, let's just go back. Let's just go back here. We have 4 objects: tables,
Wait a minute.
queries, forms, reports.
Database.
Look at my screen right now. There are 4 different objects, and I kept using the word thing object. We created 4 different objects today. And we created tables, queries, forms, and reports. We actually created 4 different objects today. The question is, I'm going back to the question. The question is, which one of these is not a database object?
It's D.
It's D, datasheet. I kept saying datasheet is what? An example of a view, not so? We go to view and we can get datasheets. We can go to view, and that is where I would get datasheet view. It's an example of a view. It is not an object. It is a view. Are we seeing that? Surya, are you okay now?
Yeah.
Good. You're sounding far away. Where did you go? Next one. When you double click a query, what happens when you double click a query? A, B, C, or D? When you double click a query, what happens? A, B, C, or D?
A.
A, very good. You open it, exactly, right? So if I go back and I double click a query, it will open, right? If you double click anything here, it's going to open. So your answer is open. Very good. Right, I'm going to give you one more. I want you to think. I'm putting one more multiple choice on there for you. Look at this last one. The term that orders data, so to have data either numerically or alphabetically, is called, is it A, B, C, or D? What do you think?
D.
D, very good. Right, that is called sorting. When you put your data either numerically or alphabetically, it's called sorting. Very good, Suri. Right, so the answer there is D. Very good. Good, so that would bring us to the end of this class, right? It will bring us to the end of our database class.